What's up, deckheads? The real-time strategy fest is in full swing on Steam, and if your wallet's anything like mine, it's hiding under the couch cushions begging for mercy. But not to worry, I've taken one for the team, or rather, my bank account has, to bring you 3 hidden or long-forgotten gems that are perfect for your Steam Deck. So whether you're here to command armies, outmaneuver space fleets, or try your luck at 19th century capitalism, I've got you covered. Without further ado, let's get started. The Homeworld Remastered Collection is like digging up a time capsule from 1999 and finding not just nostalgia, but a treasure trove of quality gameplay. With both of the remastered games, as well as the classic versions bundled together, it's like getting a 4-course meal at the price of a snack. Especially since it's 80% off at $3.49 right now. Seriously, at that price, it's cheaper than most Space Games DLCs for paint jobs. And with about 30 hours of gameplay across both games, that's more bang for your buck than a rocket launch at a budget space program. Full disclosure, I've only played the first game so far because the story is so good and I don't want to spoil any of it. The narrative hooks you right from the opening moments and keeps you engaged without relying on overused sci-fi tropes. So far, it's genuinely one of the best stories I've experienced in a space game. Now, the opening Gearbox credit video has some glitchy sound, but don't panic. That's where it ends. Once you're in the game, everything runs perfectly on the Steam Deck, locked at 60 frames per second. Battery life sits at a respectable 3 hours and 20 minutes, so you've got plenty of time to command your fleet and feel like a tactical mastermind or a complete fool. Combat feels mostly 2D in practice, but the game does give you full access to 3 dimensions. You can zoom out to the tactical map to get the lay of the land, or space rather, and then zoom all the way in to watch your squads of ships tear through enemies in glorious dogfights. Watching those little ships duke it out is captivating, and it's a constant reminder of just how far this series was ahead of its time. The controls, they feel right at home on the deck, with the trackpad for mouse movement and the triggers for clicks. But, and this is a big but, you'll want to set up a custom control layout. The game uses more keyboard buttons than a college student hammering out an essay at 2 AM, so a little tweaking is needed to make it all work smoothly. Once you've got it set up though, it feels pretty good. Now, let's address the age question. Yes, Homeworld originally dropped in 1999, but you wouldn't know it by playing it. Sure, the mechanics aren't as deep as some of today's 4X behemoths, but that simplicity works in its favor, especially for handheld gaming. It's approachable without feeling dumbed down, and it's hard to believe something this good came out when people still thought Y2K was going to end the world. Nowadays, we just think artificial intelligence is going to end the world. That is progress. The Homeworld Remastered Collection is an absolute gem, whether you're revisiting it after 20 plus years or diving in for the first time. With a killer story, engaging gameplay, and updated visuals, it's a perfect fit for the deck. So fire up your deck, command your fleet, and relive a classic that paved the way for modern space strategy games. And hey, if the story gets too emotional, don't worry. You can always zoom out and pretend you've just got space dust in your eye.
Carrick is burning.
If you've got a soft spot for real-time strategy games and love giving your deck a proper workout, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Let's face it, your deck deserves some love, and so do you. So join the rest of us deckheads and never miss out on these sweet deals and hidden gems. After all, who doesn't enjoy playing with their deck? It's time to get some oil on your deck. Turmoil is like a crash course in 19th century capitalism, but with fewer labor strikes and more adorable animations. Your job? Bid on land, dig up oil, sell it to one of 2 competing companies, and become filthy rich. Or just filthy, depending on how well you manage your operation. The gameplay is beautifully simple. Survey for oil, drill into the earth, and sell your precious black gold to the highest bidder. Prices fluctuate constantly, so you're always dancing between sell now and wait and pray. Each level resets your progress, but your overall wealth carries over, allowing you to invest in upgrades for your rigs, wagons, pipes, and more. You can take out a bank loan and even bribe officials, because nothing says entrepreneurial spirit like building your oil empire on a foundation of debt and corruption. It's like the game took a crash course in real-world business practices. On the Steam Deck, Turmoil feels like a match made in handheld heaven. The right trackpad handles mouse movement, and the triggers act as left and right clicks, making the controls ridiculously smooth. Honestly, you might forget this wasn't built specifically for the deck. It's proof that sometimes less really is more, at least when it comes to managing an oil empire. Performance-wise, the game runs locked at 60 frames per second, with a battery life of about 3 hours and 20 minutes. That's plenty of time to rake in profits or crash your economy with reckless spending. And at its current sale price, for 70% off at $3.89 US, it's a better deal than most gas station coffee. With an average playtime of about 8.5 hours, according to How Long to Beat, it's a compact experience that's weirdly hard to put down. You'll keep saying just one more plot, and suddenly, it's tomorrow. The only real mystery here is why this game is on sale during the RTS Fest. Real-time management? Sure. Real-time strategy? That's a bit of a stretch. It's like inviting a banjo player to a jazz festival. Does it belong? Probably not. But it sure is fun. Either way, Turmoil's addictive gameplay and light strategic depth make it worth your time. If you're looking for something laid back yet oddly compelling to play on your deck, Turmoil is a no-brainer. So grab your deck, start digging, and embrace the chaos of virtual capitalism. If you told me a 2006 game about commanding tiny soldiers would have me glued to my Steam Deck in 2025, I'd have laughed and gone back to pretending I was good at Against the Storm. But here we are, and Company of Heroes proves that age is just a number, kind of like my days since screaming at my troops for getting blown up counter. Spoiler, it's 0. The game kicks off in some weird resolution that looks like it was optimized for a Nokia phone from the early 2000s. But don't panic, you can quickly switch it to the deck's native resolution in the graphics settings, and suddenly, everything looks like it's ready for glorious handheld warfare. The trackpad for mouse movement and triggers for clicks works beautifully, and honestly, I didn't even bother assigning extra buttons to keyboard controls. That's right, I am the noob who didn't set squad groups and lived to tell the tale. Despite my laziness, the controls feel natural and the experience is smooth. Let's talk realism, because that's where the game shines. Watching your troops engage with the kind of situational awareness that makes you think, wow, these AI grunts are smarter than half my multiplayer teammates, is endlessly satisfying. Troops take cover, suppress enemies, and generally act like they want to live, which is more than I can say for most RTS units. Now, I know what you're thinking, why not just play the second game? Sequels are supposed to be better, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Company of Heroes 2 is fine, but the first entry is the golden child. The balancing is better, the troop AI is sharper, and overall, it just feels more polished. Like a fine wine, or in this case, a fine grenade, it's aged beautifully, and every mission is fun across its about 23 hours of gameplay. With the frames hovering between 50 and 60 frames per second, and a battery life of around 2 hours on the default ultra settings, the deck handles this warzone like a champ. Sure, it's not exactly locked at 60 frames per second, but you won't notice, especially as you're intently focused on not getting your troops obliterated. Company of Heroes may be nearly 2 decades old, but it's still the most enjoyable army-themed RTS I've played to date. It's tactical, immersive, and just plain fun. For 80% off at $3.99 US, you're basically committing a war crime by not picking it up. Grab your deck, strategize like the brilliant commander you think you are, and dive into a game that proves some classics never fade, they just get better with age. That's it for this video, deckheads. 3 amazing games from the Real-Time Strategy Fest that prove old-school RTS classics still have plenty of life left in them. And all for prices that won't have your wallet declaring bankruptcy. But before you rush off to buy these, let me drop a little bonus tip. Against the Storm is another incredible game featured in the current sale, but you can get it much cheaper and with 7 other games in the current Humble Choice bundle. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen my review of this month's Humble Choice bundle yet, go check it out. It's packed with more deck-friendly gems. Trust me, your deck will thank you. See you next time, deckheads.
Site destroyed. 3 down.